Hello YouTube, I'm Lee Quessenberry and this is my brother Michael Quessenberry.
Hi.
We are two of the four partners of Bluff City Barbecue Supply. Today we're going to be smoking a barbecue Christmas meatloaf. Shout out to Emily John and Gareth John of Sligo, Ireland for sharing the recipe. It's on our website, but today we are going to be altering the recipe just a little bit to make it work for a Southern American style using the Cajun trinity of celery, onions, and bell peppers. We will also be altering the recipe just a bit. Instead of putting it in a conventional oven, we are going to be using Pete's fancy Bradley electric smoker outside, and we're going to smoke this baby at 250 degrees for about an hour and a half. So take it away, Michael. What do we need to do to prep this meatloaf and get it going?
So today, to make up our meatloaf, we have ground chuck, ground pork, and then we've got our vegetables that we mentioned earlier. We've got the trinity, which is onions and green peppers. We've got a little parsley in this one, and we decided instead of green peppers, actually we've got the orange peppers, like my hair. But anyway, then we've got we have our spices, just a little salt and pepper in there, and we got a little Worcestershire and cider vinegar just to keep the moisture in our meats. And with all of that, meatloafs traditionally have a binder. So we've got a little milk and egg and breadcrumbs for our binders.
We mentioned that we were going to be doing a barbecue Southern style meatloaf. We're also going to be using Jim Quessenberry's famous sauces and rubs. You can find these locally at Charlie's Meat Market, the Red Square in Hernando, Mississippi. You can find these in Jonesboro, Arkansas at the Emporium gift shop on Main Street and the Country Cupboard. You can also visit us online at bluffcitybbqsupply.com. We'd be glad to ship it anywhere in the world. But today what we're going to do is we're going to season the meatloaf with Rub Beautiful. It is a nice recipe that includes turbinado sugar and a little bit of coffee for some texture and a little bit of a color and flavor. And we haven't decided yet, but we may either do a hot meatloaf or a mild meatloaf. And since we have two pans, we may do both.
Okay, so I'm going to get started here. I'm going to start with putting our meat in the bowl and mixing it together. We've got the ground chuck and the ground pork. It's most traditionally a lot of meatloafs are just ground chuck, but since we're adding the barbecue flair to it, we want to put the pork in there as well, and just make it as meaty as possible. And then, so while I'm mixing this up, I'm going to take our what we call the trinity, little onion and celery, and this has got a little parsley in it. That's a little bit different flair. A lot of people just do the onion, the celery, and green peppers, but we've got a little parsley in there. And what we're going to do besides the green peppers is our orange peppers for a little bit of color. And also orange and red peppers are a little sweeter than the green bells, and I like that. I think it makes for a good barbecue meatloaf. So we're just going to mix that in there, get it all mixed up real good. You don't want too many vegetables in one spot or too much meat in one spot, so go ahead and get that all mixed up real good. Oops, some came out, but that's okay. It's not barbecue unless you're making a mess. So got the vegetables mixed up pretty good in there. So what I'm going to do now is add the spices. We've got a little salt and pepper here, just to season up the meat real good, and of course we've got our Rub Beautiful, which is going to go good with it since we're doing this barbecue style. So our rub is unique because a long time ago in the barbecue world, our dad was kind of a pioneer of what we all know today as professional barbecue competition cooking. And one of the things that Dad did, he added turbinado sugar to our rub. And turbinado sugar is really awesome because you can cook at a high temperature and it doesn't blacken on the meat. It has a very unique, awesome taste. So that's one of our secrets in our rub, which is not as much of a secret anymore. A lot of people use it, but Dad was one of the first, and so that's why we use it. Now I'm going to add our Worcestershire sauce and apple cider vinegar just to keep the meat moist and add a little bit more flavor. Okay, so we've got our meat and vegetables mixed up pretty well with our spices, and so I'm going to add the binders now. We've got our milk and egg. I'm just going to go ahead and pour that in all around. And we'll mix that in a second, but I'm going to go ahead and get our breadcrumbs. I'm going to do about a cup of breadcrumbs here and sprinkle it around. Alright. Alright. It looks pretty well mixed up to me, so I think that it's time to get our pans out. As Lee mentioned earlier, we've got both our hot sauce and our mild sauce. So I think what we're going to do, we've got two pans, one's a little smaller. I think we're going to do 2 meatloaf, basically 2 bricks of meatloaf, and we're going to use the hot sauce as one glaze and our regular sauce as the other glaze. Okay, so I got my pans here, and they're both basically we got the saran wrap in them, and what we want to do, we're not going to do the cooking in the pan. What we want to do is create the shape of the meatloaf with these pans, and so the saran wrap helps we can get it out of the pan easily and still maintain the shape of the pan without it sticking. I'm going to go ahead and start packing that in. Let me fix this real quick. Okay. Basically what we're doing here is we want to just make meatloaf bricks, more or less. And I don't really want to like muffin top it, but I do want to pack it in there a little bit high. I mean, the other pan should hold the rest of it, but it's just looks kind of cool, I think. Same thing here. You just want to pack it in the pan, make the shape of the pan is what we're looking for. So when we take it out of the pan, it'll have the brick shape, and we can just throw it on the smoker, and it'll get smoke from all sides, but also have the shape of the pan.
Refrigerator for about an hour. I think they're probably firm enough now for you to put them on the pan and we can spice them up real quick. What do you think?
Okay. Like I said earlier, you got the saran wrap, just so it's easy to get out of the pan. So I'm just flip this over. Oh, that's nice. Very nice.
Awesome. So these meatloaves, we've already got our Bradley nice and hot. It's a steady temperature of 250 degrees. What we're going to do now is Michael's going to apply Rub Beautiful. We're going to spread the rub on the meatloaf and get it ready, and then we're going to use a sauce to glaze with.
The real beautiful here, and try to get all the sides. Probably just shake it on this way. Yeah. This is going to cook for a while, so we're just going to season it up just like you would any other piece of meat. Then we're going to cook it for a little while, and what we want to do is once everything gets cooked, we're going to use the hot barbecue sauce as a glaze on this one, and then a regular on that one. And just like you, more or less like you would do with a traditional meatloaf with ketchup or whatever, we're going to use the barbecue sauce as a glaze to have that barbecue take on meatloaf. Alright, there we go. So these are ready to go on the smoker now.
Alright, so we've got the Bradley up to around 270, which is okay because we're going to be putting cold meat into it. Michael's got the meatloaf ready to go. As you can see, we've got plenty of smoke going from the Bradley electric smoker. So what we're going to do is probe one of the meatloafs with the thermometer here and stick it in there, and we're going to cook it for about an hour and a half at 250 degrees. And in about an hour and a half we'll come back and check on this thing, and hopefully we'll be serving it up.
Alright guys, so our internal temp got up to 155 like we wanted it to, and I've already glazed the hot one, but I'm fixing to use our Sauce Beautiful for the other one, and we're just going to pour a little bit of that on there, stir it out. I'm going to use our brush here to just kind of mop that on. And the smell that's coming out of this thing right now is amazing. As I've said, I'm a fan of meat, so what we're going to do is we're going to garnish this meatloaf. We've cooked some bacon, and we're going to take the bacon and just, you know, go ahead and top this thing off. I think I'm going to stick her back in the smoker and let the glaze set in on it. So. Alright, so we got our finished product here. We just took the meat off. We got it up to the temp that we wanted to get it up to. It looks really awesome, and I'm about to cut into it and see what we look like. Oh, look at that. Little peppers and onions and stuff in there. That's really awesome. Oh wow, dude.
Alright, man.
That was good, guys.